The topic is consulting in Bayer. The question was, what are the different perceptions of consultants? You know the joke? How many consultants do you need to screw in a light bulb? 100. 1 to actually screw the light bulb in, 99 to create the plan on how it should be done. Yeah? What do you call 100 consultants at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Yeah? Any other consultant jokes? Well, I suppose there was the topic about the consultant who dies and goes to heaven, and Peter meets him at the gates of heaven, and he says, "So, you're a consultant?" "Yes." "Oh, and I can see that you're, 95 years old. Congratulations." And the consultant says, "Huh? No, there must be a mistake. I'm only 42. No, 95. No, it's wrong. I'm only 42. Peter says, "Well, according to the amount of hours that you charged your customers for, you're 95. So there are many different perceptions of the consulting world. Yeah. Within Bayer, typically consultants have specialities or specific focus areas. SAP consultants, CRM consultants, sales and marketing consultants, HR consultants, quality control, ISO 9001 consultants, business process consultants, logistics, regulatory consultants, etc., etc., etc. These are people with specific knowledge and experience in a specific business process or application area, and these are implementers. They're not really consultants. They're people who work within a particular area. The reason that they call themselves consultants and that they're called consultants is because at the beginning of their work area, they need to use consulting practices to do a needs analysis, to understand the current situation, to understand what's going on, and to formulate their plan. However, the plan's always going to be the same, the product is always the same, it's relatively straightforward as to what they're going to do, it's not going to deviate much from what's possible for them, and we use them because we don't have the skills and knowledge and experience or the resources to do it ourselves, which means we need to body shop those people into the organization and get those skills and capabilities done from those guys. And sometimes you'll meet people in the organization who have been in the organization for years. They don't work for the organization, but it seems as if they do. They are called consultants as well. Sometimes within Bayer there's a coaching and mentoring network, which means cross-divisional and cross-functional practices where you will be able to coach somebody from a different organization, you'll be able to act as a mentor from somebody else from a different department, and there will be round tables where you can get people together from similar areas of expertise in order to share experience. These are very often the initiators of consulting projects, certainly, but consulting as a particular job does not really happen within this context. Coaches use consulting skills because one of the main consulting skills is the ability to ask a variety of different questions to create information. And so certainly some of the skill sets will be there. The IT demand manager has the word consulting as a very, very critical stage within their process. And this word comes into stage 5 of our IT demand management process. So just as a summary, if you haven't been watching all of the films, which you should be, either go back to the beginning and watch them again, or listen to this. Number 1, understanding the customer's business, the sponsor's business. Number 2, creating plans linked to the sponsor's plans. Number 3, creating the project vision with the sponsor. In a simple opportunity or a complex opportunity which is very clear, you can now move this opportunity to the stage where it is budgeted, it is approved, it is resourced, it is handed over to implementation people, and the implementation of the project with the project managers can begin. There is no need for consulting. You have consulted with our EPIC model in the third stage of the process, and it is not necessary to do any further deep consulting projects or processes behind it. However, the world of IT is not an easy world. IT changes the way that people work, it changes the things that they do, it changes the reasons that they do them and the tools that they do them with. There is a lot of change involved in IT, and whenever there is a lot of change, there is a lot of resistance, and resistance will generally need to be approached from a consulting perspective. So it is quite possible that stage number 5, having had something budgeted, or stage number 4, where the budget has been refused because people say, no way guys, this is too complex at the moment. First you need to go through a larger consulting exercise to actually see if this is the right way to go. In both of these scenarios, it is possible that the IT demand manager will take off their role of IT demand manager and put on their role or their hat of IT consultant or demand management consultant. Yeah? So I want to be clear and explicit about the following situation. The role of consultant within this context will change the perception of you as a person to a specific group of people. The role of consultant will need to be explained. You will quite literally need to go to people and say, you thought you knew me, but you don't. I am now a different person, Mr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? I am a little bit of a schizophrenic, and this begins here. I used to be nice, or I used to be nasty, now I'm nice, or now I'm no, I used to be an IT demand manager, and my job was analysing and understanding your business needs and linking it to potential solutions. My job now is the job of a demand management consultant. My job is to consult this process, to consult this topic, to consult this need, to find out if there is a way that you would like to go to move forward in addressing what is a serious problem. Yeah? So that's quite a bit different. So we're moving into a stage and an element with a lot of gravity, a lot of seriousness associated with it. We're moving into the stage of consulting, and we're moving into all of the skills associated with that particular stage. So let's begin. And we will begin here. A couple of pens, good. We will begin with a description of 2 different consulting types. It's great. All of this pen is meant to be white, and this pen is meant to be black, and they're both brown. I have got 24 brown pens. It's a big challenge for me. Other people have other challenges. I wish I had other challenges. My challenges are brown pens, and the majority of everything is brown. It's lucky I'm colourblind. So, look at this. This is a process. And this process represents a process-oriented form of consulting. A process-oriented form of consulting looks at hard facts, looks at rationale decision-making processes. It looks at the processes, and it says everything around the consulting environment should be taken from the specific factual environment that exists. For example, if you are implementing if the idea is CRM, then all of the data comes from sales, all of the data comes from the customer database, the mails that the marketing people have sent out in previously, the link of supply chain to the customer set, all of the different access points of company to customer, to distributor, everything where the customer is involved. All of these things can be measured. Everything has a process behind it. Everything has an email thread or a discussion forum attached to it. Yeah? Everything can be viewed from a process perspective because all information is collected, all information is stored, all of it can be retrieved, it can all be put on the table and analyzed. Yeah? And this is a process-oriented form of consulting, and when you look out onto the market, you will find many, many consultants who follow this route and this routine. And the majority of consultants that you will find in this area have their roots in process-oriented types of consulting. Their job is, I won't say it's straightforward because it's not, especially in some of the more complex types of applications. It's very, absolutely not straightforward at all, but it is oriented and process-oriented and linear in its formation. Currently, there is a big movement towards the second type of consulting area, and this is given a couple of names. It is relationship-based consulting. Sometimes it is called systemic consulting, and it is a consulting area based around human relationships and intangible factors related to the environment that the problem is taking place in. Okay? So, when you look at the contents behind this level of consulting, for the process-oriented type of consultant, this is quite a shock. Yeah? Because the first questions that get asked here are, what are the feelings of the different people involved? Who are the different stakeholders, and what is their attitude towards a particular topic? The two different variations of consulting are fundamentally different in their approach to a particular topic or problem. This one drives a topic forward based on measurable material. This one says nothing can happen unless the relationships of the people are correct and good and supportive of what wants to be changed. These guys will say there's no point in doing this until you've done this. Yeah? These guys will say this is all a bunch of wishy-washy spaghetti type stuff. There's no point in doing this because it has no value. Let's do this. This is the only thing that you can measure. Okay? The reality of all change projects is that one does not exist without the other. Yeah? So what we're going to do today is to look at a couple of different principles and models that make sure that both of these get done within the consulting process itself. Yeah? Has anybody got an example? Or I'm sure all of you have examples of projects that failed because of the relationship angle and the relationships that were taking place within the change that was being proposed. I'm sure that several of you have got examples of projects that failed because the process-oriented positioning of topics was simply not done well enough. People were relying on the quality of the people in order to push things and move things forward. Yeah? The fact of the matter is that as IT people, you will probably have a preference towards this level of consulting rather than this particular perspective of consulting. Yeah? This is pretty unavoidable based on your profiles and your backgrounds. Right? So what I want to do is to begin here with a couple of topics before we move on to a very structured system for understanding and analysing this. Okay?